Greetings, everyone. This is Janice Wright from the Garrison Public Affairs Office, and this week on the Great Big Podcast, we have the pleasure of sitting down with the Garrison Commander. All that on this week's episode of the Great Big Podcast.
Welcome to the Great Big Podcast. This is Eric Franklin, and today on the show, we are honored to have Colonel Lakicia Stokes, the Garrison Commander for the U.S. Army, Fort Cavazos. Ma'am, welcome to the Great Big Podcast.
Hey, good afternoon, team. Thanks for having me this afternoon.
So, ma'am, let's just jump right into it.
So, ma'am, my name is Janice Wright, and I'm with the Garrison Public Affairs Office. And again, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. I'm just really curious. What made you want to be all you can be? Where'd you get the start for the military, for your career?
All right. Coming up in Selma, Alabama, I was inspired by my brother who was in the Army. I admired his discipline and commitment to service, and I looked up to him. He's my bigger brother, and I looked up to him. This was while I was in high school, and so I joined the Army National Guard. While I was in high school, I went to basic training my junior year that summer. And then I came back to high school and I graduated high school. And then I went off to advanced individual training after I graduated high school. After that, I went off to college at Troy State University where I ran track, and I was on a track scholarship. So just to recap, my brother inspired me to join the military and sports. I played basketball in high school.
Janice,
and running.
That's your thing.
Yes, we have a lot in common. I played basketball, also did ROTC. I really did enjoy the structure of the military. So it was great. And I was on the delayed entry program. So.
Oh, wow. Yes, we do have a lot in common. Do. So that's, a constant passion for me. And these two elements set the stage, basketball and track for college. And while I was in college, I did great in track. I ran 5 events. But my love and passion for the Army continued to grow as I was selected for an active duty commission in Transportation Corps. But I must tell you, after entering the service, even early in my teenage years, it's always the people around you which motivates you the most to be all that you can be.
Oh, that's great. So, speaking of people, how would you describe your first few months here at Fort Cavazos and all the people that you've been able to meet over this last few months?
Wow. Yes. First months on the job, as a feeling of humbleness, to be able to work alongside such a professional team of dedicated staff that's focused on providing the absolute best services to our soldiers, Army civilians, and family members. But I cannot stop there, as Fort Cavazos has so many advocates around the Central Texas region who stay plugged in and continuously support on a tireless basis. It is amazing to see and be a part of. Then there are the truly amazing community partners which surround our installation and truly treat us as one big family team as we work together in everything. And as you know, have fun, because I like to have fun, right? And everything else with community events. So my first observation is humbleness and admiration at the amazing professionalism and dedication of the force and the overwhelming sense of community and support of advocates and community partners which surrounds us.
Okay. Well, speaking of the relationships that you're starting to build, how do you think you'll manage to continue to nourish those? Because you're getting out there, you're meeting lots of people, you have lots of initiatives that you want to establish.
Yeah, so Fort Cavazos is extremely fortunate in this regard, as there is a rich history of community support and collaboration within the Central Texas region. Saying that, I do want to look at opportunities to grow these relationships and look for other opportunities which may present themselves in strengthening and improving ties locally and out to the greater areas in Central Texas where some of our soldiers and Army civilians live and commute daily. So even with the rich history of the community support Fort Cavazos enjoys daily, I believe we can continue to improve and think out of the box of ways to consistently improve our relationships and grow our involvement within our greater community.
Hey, ma'am, real quick, you went to Howdy Y'all earlier today. How does it feel just to see the amount of support that, businesses and organizations offside the installation came just to show the soldiers and their family members what we have to offer here?
Oh, yes. Howdy, y'all. It was great. I tell you, getting the opportunity to get in there and talk to the different, agencies that, take the time to come in and provide support and all the different services that they provide to our soldiers, civilians as well. It's just amazing.
Now, Howdy Y'all, the vendors and the supporters, they always love to come because, of course, military people are prime candidates for their organizations. Military people, they possess all of the traits, the skills, the education that employers look for. So they're always, happy to come and be a part and support what we have going on.
And yes, it's important, especially as, soldiers, each month transition, right? Mm-hmm. And so we just want to make sure that when they transition, that there's opportunities and that they know that there are opportunities. And so the messaging, having, events like Howdy Y'all, providing that opportunity to, message and let the soldiers know that, these are, the agencies, that's willing to either hire them or have information that they need whenever they do get out of the service.
Absolutely.
So, ma'am, beyond your immediate plans, do you have any long-term objectives for your tour here at Fort Cavazos?
Well, that's a good question, and one that I would give, I guess, just a little hint.
Uh-oh.
We're anxious to hear.
As it is a passion of mine. So sometime in the future, I would like to, do some type of symposium or panels with, females on the installation, mm-hmm. And have some experts or speakers come in. But now just saying that, I know I'm saying a lot and it's just a hint. I don't know what it's going to look like. But because this must be defined, mm-hmm. And I know that it's, legal. You got to get legal reviews. Yeah. You got to be planned.
You got to talk with public affairs.
Yes, exactly. And got to be molded with achievable goals and outcomes from a purpose, right? And so now I have to tell you something. I have not even told my boss yet. So.
Uh-oh.
Well, we're the first to hear. We feel honored.
Yes. But this is an area I'm very passionate about, mentorship and, mentoring and coaching, as in my previous jobs when I was a professor of military science twice, and I taught in the Department of Physical Education at West Point. It was about mentoring, training, teaching, coaching those cadets, and I'm very passionate about that. And just to be honest, I have been part of other conversations where female leaders held conversations with other females, and I walked away inspired, mm-hmm. Motivated, empowered, and I would like to do the same thing.
So with that, you mentioned your passion for mentorship. What drives that for you? What planted that seed for you?
Really growing up, how I was, from Selma, Alabama, brought up, and it was instilled at me at a young age to help others. Okay. And so since I was young, I always wanted to help others, of course, teach others. If I see someone struggling, I want to teach them, coach them through whatever it is that they're struggling in. And so it's been instilled in me since I was young.
I think that's excellent. A lot of younger soldiers, they're coming into the service and they actually need that kind of one-on-one individual, attention. I think it bodes well for them and gets them off on the right foot in their, military careers.
Yes, it does.
I wish I had more of that, as a young soldier back in the day when I was active duty.
Yes.
We're not going to say how long ago that was.
No, we are not. I will not date myself.
Well, real quick, ma'am, another side note. So when you came in the Army, you came from Selma, Alabama. I was at Fort, oh my God, it's blanked my mind now. It's McClellan. I went to AIT at Fort McClellan. That's how old I am, because it closed in. I think we were the last class that closed there. When you were growing up, outside of your brother, was there any other big military influences on you, or?
Well, I had a cousin who actually retired as a sergeant major as well. And so going back to Fort McClellan, I also did training at Fort McClellan.
Okay.
And I was in high school. And so we would go AT there.
Yeah.
Annual training at Fort McClellan. And then I get the opportunity to see, all the soldiers, everybody. Yeah. And so that even motivated me even more to want to, stay in the military, that I was on the right track, even as a, junior and senior, of course, in high school. And then also getting the opportunity to go to Panama as a senior in high school. We did annual training. Oh. And so that was a great experience.
I'll
and so
bet.
the traveling.
Yeah.
Right. And so getting that experience. And so that was great at a young age.
That was one of the reasons why I enlisted. That's one of the things they got me with. I remember the recruiter actually came to my home and talked with my father, and I sat down in our living room and laid it all out. And I'll never forget that. When he said travel, that was it.
Yes. And so same thing, recruiter, high school, that's where it all started. The recruiter came into the high school, and of course I was underage, and my mom had to sign off. I was 17, and I was like, yes, I am ready to serve my country. And of course my brother and my cousin, he was a sergeant. He wasn't a sergeant major at the time, but he was making it through the ranks. And so I was inspired.
What would you tell? What would you tell younger you, that 17-year-old who was like, well, should I join the Army? How has that experience been for you?
Oh, it's been great. I tell you, as I look back to when I joined the military back when I was 17, I would have never thought that I would be where I'm at today. And so telling the younger me, yep, I would have, if I had to do it all over again, I would have did it, of course. So it's just been great. I learned so much being in the military, and I don't know if I could do anything else because I love it so much. I was very passionate about it. Some may say, hey, I'm only going to do 4 years and then I'm going to get out, right? I never said that.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I never said that. Each year, I was still enjoying it. And so I never said that, hey, I'm just going to do my 4 years. And so now I'm like, wow, I would have never thought this 20-some years ago. Well, matter of fact, 29 years ago from when I joined.
Well, I think your dedication and your passion, that's what's made you such an effective leader, thus far.
Yes.
And, speaking of that, there has to be work-life balance, especially in the position you are. So we kind of get a bird's eye view of your professional side. But what about, the other side? When you let your hair down a little bit, what do you like to do outside of work?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. Hey, so, my number one activity is spending time with my family.
I love it.
I'm blessed to have a supportive home team, which I don't have to worry about. Because my husband retired, and so he takes care of the son, and so I don't have to worry about home, right?
That's great.
And when I do come home, I can, plug into and enjoy the moments. I'm a mother and I'm a grandmother, and I love each one of these titles. For instance, I can come home and join my husband, who's already at the basketball games,
Yeah.
with my 9-year-old, and sit with my husband at the score table because he likes to volunteer.
I love it.
As always, and, help him take all the stats and film every day. As we're filming and he wants me to hold the camera, I don't know what I'm filming because sometimes I'm too busy, cheering and the camera is looking at something else, right? And so, the joy from this is astronomical. And so my favorite activities involved is being with my family.
Yeah.
And my advice or recommendation to our soldiers and army civilians with families to ensure we have that work-life balance and enjoy every opportunity to be together.
Now, I'm curious. Do your grandchildren know that their grandmother's out here smoking the PT test? Do they know that?
Well, they get a glimpse, and so I think the last glimpse, it wasn't for the PT test, but I think the last glimpse was when I was at the Army War College. I just graduated before coming here, and we had Jim Thorpe Sports Day, and so I ran the 4x400, the female. That was the last leg on the 4x400, and we won.
Okay.
And also,
Wow! Congrats.
I played basketball. And so I sent them, photos and videos. And so they got the opportunity to see me in action.
Now, I love my grandmother, rest her soul. She made the best peach cobbler, but she wasn't out there balling and, running tracks. So it's great to see, different generations and what they're able to accomplish in the same roles.
Yes.
So, you're awesome. I'll bet you your grandchildren think the same.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
And I know your son. He thinks I know he knows you're awesome. Does your son know what you do? Like,
does he know you're a big deal?
Yeah.
He knows. He knows that I'm in the Army.
Yeah.
And my husband was in the Army, but I don't think he really knows. And I don't know if you've seen the expression on his face at the change of command when he got his gift.
Yeah.
And so that is,
Okay, what's his name?
That is Gregory. He's Gregory the Third.
Gregory. This is Janice from Public Affairs at Fort Cavazos. I just want to let you know that your mom
Is amazing.
Colonel Stokes is amazing. She is the best. Just in case you don't know, she's a big deal around here.
Yes, you are. You are, ma'am.
Thank you all.
Well, real quick, ma'am, we're coming to the end. Lastly, just want to ask you, is there any inspiration message or anything that you want to leave our listeners with?
Yes, first I'd like to say, know that every day there are dedicated soldiers and army civilians working tireless to ensure you receive the absolute best service support possible. Yes, there will be times because of unforeseen circumstances we may have a moment when something disrupts, but at the same time, the team is on the job, first mitigating whatever the circumstances, and secondly, developing simultaneous efforts to fix the problems. And lessons learned on why it happened and how it would not happen again. So knowing that, just know that we are here to provide the best and outstanding support and services.
Well, there you go.
There you
have it from Garrison Commander.
Who doesn't think she's a big deal, but you are. Like,
absolutely.
We really appreciate you coming out and taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and talk with us. We look forward to having you. I mean, you can come on whenever you want, if you want. So whenever you want to come out and come down and hang out with us and talk about something.
Let us know. We look forward to having you.
We'll move people around for you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity to be on a podcast, and I look forward to future podcasts as we continue to deliver exceptional support at the Great Place. And I'm very excited about being back at the Great Place because it is indeed the Great Place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Your Army Digital Garrison app is a great way to explore your community. With expanded features, including access to an app library, MWR Travel Services, and American Forces Travel, the Digital Garrison provides direct access to installation-specific news, information, and alerts. Find local dining options and events. Browse great shopping deals at your Exchange, Express, and ShopMyExchange.com, and the Commissary. Search for Digital Garrison in the App Store to connect with your installation and community. Powered by the United States Army and your Exchange.
You know, having the garrison commander come down and talk to us. I mean, she's been here for a while now, and having her come down and talk to us, I feel like I'm getting to know her a little bit better.
Absolutely. I did not realize we had so much in common. It makes me just, look forward to getting to know her a little bit more.
Yeah, I really hope that we can get her in a foot race. You know, I'm not saying me, but I'm pretty sure we can
I'm not going to get her in a foot race. Like, she was a bona fide track star. That would be just, crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we might get Sam. Sam might be able to do it.
Yeah, I might invite her, to the court, but she probably would embarrass me.
She'll cross you up, and that's
She
it.
probably would. I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. But it's always good to have people come in and just to get that firsthand experience and just knowledge of who they are and what makes them tick, and just us to learn more about them and just what's going on with them.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to all of the positive initiatives and things that she has in store for the installation. Speaking of the installation, now you guys know that we are approaching the end of summer, even though it's trying to hang in there a little bit.
Yeah, it's still kind of hot.
We are, still in that water conservation, area, but we are very, very grateful because thanks to the efforts of the community and family housing residents, there has been a reduction in water consumption. So you guys keep doing what you're doing. It is much appreciated. However, we are still in mandatory stage 2 water conservation measures, and they remain in place until further notice. So remember, no watering of any landscaping or anything like that between the hours of 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. daily, and report all on-post leaks to DPW by calling 254-287-2113, or any off-post leaks, you report those to your local city water departments.
Oh man, that's okay.
I can't believe, we've got officially maybe it's not even a week. Like, summer is a couple of days. We have a couple more days of summer, but the weather is telling us something different.
Yeah, I mean, it's still in the 90s. I think it's like 93. It's the 90s is coming down after so many days of straight hundreds. It's ugh.
Usually when the weather changes, that's when, everybody decides to clean out all their stuff, which is great because we have our annual post-wide yard sale coming up, right?
Yeah.
All right, so the community-wide yard sale will take place from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on September 30th. I don't know, what's the location? 5004 Clear Creek Road. That's right across from the Fort Cavazos thrift store, you guys.
Oh, that's right there in the where the old PX used to be.
Absolutely. So bring all your stuff. Remember, you may think it's junk, but somebody else may think it's a treasure. So, don't be afraid to bring it out and share it with, the community. Also, the Fort Cavazos Civilian Human Resources Agency is hosting a Federal Employment 101 for the Military Spouse course. Now, this is going to show you guys and take you through all of the processes for navigating the usajobs.gov website, step-by-step application, and really how to tune up your resume and get you ready for that next job. So we have different dates and times for the courses. The first is coming up September 26th, which is Tuesday, from 9 to 11. The next will be on October 24th from 1 to 3 p.m., and the next one after that will be on November 7th from 9 to 11. So don't miss that if you are wanting to get into a federal government position.
Cool.
Eric, did you have any problem with your resume when you applied?
It was horrible.
I agree. So this workshop is much needed. I wish it was available for me, but lucky for you and I, whatever we did do, it was enough.
Well, so what I ended up doing with my resume is I ended up I took a lot of time and I ended up going each section, and I did it. I broke it down by sections. I think I spent 2 hours a day on each section, and I read each section, and I said, okay, this is all I'm going to focus on, and I put all that time into that section and it took me maybe 5 days, but by the end of that 5th day, everything was complete. Everything was, if they said, oh, well, you need to have these qualifications. However, I feel if I would have sat down with someone, I would have probably had a better, wouldn't have took me 5 days to fix.
Absolutely, absolutely, and the same for me. I went through each section. I make sure that the KSAs, or the knowledge, skills, and ability sections, matched my experience, or my experience matched those. And it takes a while, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of professional development, there is going to be the 13th annual Central Texas Military History Symposium on September 28th at 6 p.m.
Cool.
It's going to be held at the Bill Yowell Conference Center on Texas A&M University Central Texas campus. And this professional development opportunity will feature a lecture and a film premiere by Dr. Chris Carey. Sounds interesting.
It is.
So any of you looking for any kind of professional development, please attend. All are welcome. And lastly, of course, we love to display and show off all of our awesome military vehicles and Vietnam and Korean War area military vehicles. And we will have those on display from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on October 6th at the Main Post Exchange. All soldiers and family members are welcome.
Last year I did that, and that was my birthday present last year.
So did I. Yeah. I think my favorite display was the display with the old cameras.
Yes, that was my favorite display, and I got to go do that. That was my story that I did last year for my birthday. Or
That's
we did.
right.
I think we
you
did.
collect cameras, so yeah.
And it was really cool. I really appreciated that. It was pretty cool. Well, that's it for this week, guys. I know we really appreciate you guys listening to us. And
absolutely.
Again, if you have any comments, or you want to share a story, or you want to come on the podcast, in the bumper, we have our contact information. So just make sure you check us out and send us a comment, or make sure you like and share and follow us so we know how good we're doing. And we will talk with you guys next time. Bye. This podcast is a U.S. Army Garrison-Fort Cavazos and Fort Cavazos Public Affairs production. Have a question or want to share some of your wisdom with us? Drop us an email at fortcavazos@gmail.com. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Fort Cavazos Army. And as always, be sure to leave us a review and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.